don't know who I am, I'm Nathan and Jacob's father, Jerry Christie. And I'm privileged to be able to speak about our friend who recently passed, Bud. I do believe in my heart and my soul that in spirit, Bud is here with us today. Quite sure. Looking down on us and smiling, that infectious smile that he always had. So let's begin. This is not going to be a long, drawn-out thing. We're going to discuss the years that we knew Bud for the last 20. I can't tell you much about his boyhood because the group that gathered together a couple nights ago, the family wasn't involved in it, unfortunately, or I would have asked more questions about when he was a young man. So we're going to pretty much concentrate on what transpired over the last years. He was born Michael James Bud. And all this time I thought that was a nickname or whatever. I didn't realize that Bud was his last name. He was born on a Christmas Eve in 1972 in New York, a town called Port Jarvis, apparently very close to New York City. He's survived by, and I've been asked to read the members of the family, he's survived by his mother Mary, his father Dennis, his sister Amy and his sister Debbie. The brother's name is Dennis. Also sister-in-law Shannon, nephews and nieces Ellie, Lillian, and Michael. And in particular, they wanted to mention Bud's favorite uncle, and his name was John Deji. Also half-sister Kathleen, half-brother Chris, half-brother Casey. We do know that he graduated high school in 1992 in New York. He moved to Panama City in 1995 when we were all fortunate enough to meet this fine young man. He started, his first job was here at Pineapple Willy's and came full circle at the end. He ended up here. He was a local music guy. I'm sure a lot of you remember the band Circle. Bud and Scott Harding and Shane Finley. There were other bands that he was involved in. I'm sure most of you may or may not know that there was a number of bands. I believe I was told the other night that he started out originally playing guitar, but was a naturally very good drummer. And Bud ended up as a drummer. I never got to see the band Circle. I know they were good. I do remember they used to practice at what we called the Sheds on the end of Middle Beach Road. A lot of parties going on there besides just the music. So anyway, him being a natural drummer drove into music. He was a music lover, and I think he even said he felt like he was somewhat of a celebrity in Panama City Beach, and I agree with that. I think he was. He was a wonderful guy. A couple things that the people brought up the other night. He was really good at sports. My son Jake said he was a great bowler. Nobody ever wanted to bet him that they could beat him. He was always a 200-plus bowler and an excellent golfer. And very humble about that too, I might add. The one thing that really surprised me that I did not know about Bud was his love of animals. We have a donation up here for the Humane Society. They honored him. He would used to find stray cats, over 30 of them, and take them out there for spay and neuter. I had no idea about Bud, and it just makes me admire him even more. So if you do want to make a contribution, this is money that's going to be given to the family through the Humane Society. I do want to thank Broken Eric for putting this venue together today where we can celebrate the life of Bud, and we greatly appreciate that. Bud, when he first moved here, and there was a number of people that my boys worked here that were from out of state or out of town, used to come to my house for holidays, for meals. And I was always surprised that him not being a big man, the way the guy could eat. It was absolutely amazing. Bud would always go back for seconds and always leave room for dessert. And when he was at my house, we were much better people for the fact that he was there. Just a lovely man, lovely man. the boys had started something, I can't even remember how many years ago, called the Glutton Bowl. I don't know if you remember that, but it was an eating contest. And Jake had told me, he said, the first one we had, everybody had large pizzas. And the only one that was able to finish a large pizza was Bud. And then I think he went on to try and get some of Jake's. So that's the one thing that I'll remember about Bud all the time, because he's just a really big eater. Bud was in the final couple months of his life had made a decision that he was going to stop drinking alcohol. And he did. And I think it was one of the crowning moments of his life. He was very, very proud of his sobriety. Good for him. Good for Bud. Nathan told us about the trip to New York City with the Circle. They went to play at a place in New York City called CBGB's. And that's no small task. I mean, famous people from around the world have played with CBGB's. Nate said it was a wonderful time. He told us a story of them skateboarding and roller skating down a large hill in Bud's hometown into New York City, where he proclaimed to be the king of New York City. That's Bud. I'll tell you, that's Bud. I think in closing, I would just like to say that I'm quite sure that Bud didn't realize how much people loved him. And I think we all know how much we love him. You know, I don't know if we ever expressed it so much. I don't think he understood how many people and how many friends he had, but he enjoyed all of you people, you know, and as I say, I know he's up there looking down. He's probably smiling right now, which even thinking of that brings a smile to my face. I was glad to know him. I kind of looked at him as my kids used to say, when you come to our house, he's our brother from another mother. I would have been proud to be his father. So, thank you very much. I would, if anybody would like to say anything, and there are some things that I didn't cover, and again, I welcome you up here and just reminisce amongst yourself. But if anybody wants to come up and say anything, now would be the time to do that. Please do not be shy. Thank you.
Never been on a mic like this before, but I want to talk about Bud a little bit before he moved here. I met Mike Bud probably when I was 7, 8 years old, somewhere around there. He was one of my brother's best friends, and the one thing I can say about Michael Bud, and everybody in this room will know, is that he's memorable. Everyone in this room has a story about Mike Bud, whether it be good, or be bad, or funny, or ridiculous. Everyone in this room has a story about Mike Bud. And two of my favorite stories that I want to share with you guys tonight, when I was probably 12, 13 years old, we used to play football every Sunday. And my brother Shane, they were all older than me, 15, 16 years old, 17 years old. And we would go play football every Sunday. And we were sitting at my brother Shane's house after football one day. And being in Pennsylvania, it was freezing cold. So we had a lot of layers. We had long johns, shorts, pants, everything you could think of on. And Bud's laying there in front of the TV like he always does, with his arm up and his leg up, crossed. And he had a little string of his shorts that were hanging out the back. So my brother crawls up and lights it on fire. And I see the flame, and it's about this big, and then it's this big, and then it's this big. And I look at my brother, and I'm laughing. I'm like, when is he going to notice that his pants are on fire? So the flame, I swear, gets about a foot high. And Bud jumps from the floor to the ceiling. Ow, you fucking dick, you fucking dick! And he slaps his ass. And the hole in his ass was probably about this big, or down to his butt, all through the pants. I never laughed so hard in my life. And you know, thinking about this story, every time I think about Bud, I laugh. You know, he was really memorable, and he really touched my life, and I've known him forever. And I just want to say that when I think of Bud, I laugh and I smile, and that's a good thing. Thank you.
Brooke wanted me to remind you all that from here we have some remembrances of Bud, the sand. If you can get yourself one, you can keep Bud with you. After this, we're going to the beach. We're going to have someone do a prayer. We're going to take this large container here, ask you to take a scoop of sand and put it in there. This is going to the family. They're going to take it up with them. As a matter of fact, a number of them are leaving right after the ceremony to go to the funeral in New York. So thank you all for coming. Keep him in your heart and in your soul, because he's up there watching out for all of us. Thank you.
I'm Dave Wilson, one of Bud's bestest buddies, and Bud has definitely been one of my best friends. Still is one of my best friends, always will be, and we all know we're going to miss him that bad. We all know how much fun we've had going up and down all around with that dude, and you know, for a dude that was as wild as he was, and then to see somebody come out of New York with all these boys and their girls, and they were like ready to rock, like full on, no doubt, confidence, this is the spot to do it. I remember when I was moving in with him, I was like, this dude's pretty radical, man, you know, we're pretty good buddies, man. I knew we were tight, but I was like, roommates, you know, that's a new level, and I was like, Bud, man, so you get pretty radical with all your boys, but I'm like, we'll never have to go there, dude. They will always be good. I'm like, you know, I promise you, I'm never going to do whatever it is, you know, it's going to make a trip out, dude. But we lived together, and that dude got totally wild, and so did I. But man, he never broke out on me one time. And dude, even when he was obnoxious, man, it was like hilarious. I loved it. And the whole time, you know, you can say whatever you say about the spectacle we made or whatever, but that dude was a true friend every time, all day, all night. Anytime you needed him, you know, it was automatic, and it remained that way. And man, I spent a lot of time with him here in the last couple of years. We lived a couple blocks away from each other. Same boat, man, working during the day and then kicking it in the evening. Not a whole lot going on, and I have plenty of time to talk about stuff. And just to keep it simple, man, that dude's dialed in. He's all good. He ain't carrying no kind of grudge towards anybody, anywhere, anytime. And it was beautiful to watch that dude really come into himself. And you know, I just feel sorry for myself because the selfish kind of dude I am. That, you know, he's not gonna be around anymore. But still, the inspiration is it's rocking as hard as ever right now. So I know Bud loves all y'all, and me too. We all love Bud, and thanks for letting me say that, y'all. I love you.
Hello, my name's Rob Yeager, and he was my very best friend. He moved here in 1995, and I moved here in 95. He moved from New York, I moved from Los Angeles. We were both a long way from home with no family here. And we spent a lot of time together. When the band Circle got together, at first it was just two of them. And they had songs that were 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, maybe 6, but none of the songs had a name. And there was only 2 guys, and when I met them, it was like, oh, 2 guys could make this much noise? You know, it's like, wow. And that's what kind of drew me over there, because we all played at the Sheds, you know, like a lot of you guys. I know a lot of you people from the Sheds. And our first show, my band Zarada, Circle played on that show, and it was their very first show. And I came to them and I said, look guys, we have to have a name for your band, because, you know, we're going to do flyers and stuff. And when everybody was like sitting around and I think it was Scotty that said circle, and we all just kind of looked at him and said, circle? And he pointed at a 7-Up can, the red ball on the 7-Up can. He goes, yeah, like a circle. I was like, everybody looked around and said, okay, you guys are now a circle. So we did the show, and I mean, that's my best memory is I would sit in the audience and I would yell, play number 3, play number 3. So they would dedicate song number 3 to me. And forever, number 3 will be a special number for me. Thank you.
Thank you, those stories were wonderful. I just want to thank Pineapple Willy's for donating all the money for all the drinks today, going to Paws and Claws and Humane Society in Bud's name. We're going to go down to the beach and have a moment of silence for Bud and say a prayer, and we're all going to put sand in here for his family and take a group picture and put in this jar just to let his family up there know how much he was loved down here and how we're just as much as family to him as anyone. So if you guys want, you can come up and take one of these with you and head towards the beach right here in front of here.